Before we begin, okay. In honor of Ben 10's anniversary. Okay, this made on the anniversary recently. Apparently, we have a surprise. What is it? What is it?
Hi, I'm Yuri Lowenthal, the voice of Ben Tennyson.
This is Paul Lighting, the voice of Max Tennyson.
Hi, I'm Tara Strong, the voice of Ben Tennyson.
Greg Sipes, the voice of Kevin Levin, and right now, that's how we do it. And this is Wingman G, the real life Beast Boy, and you're watching the Ink Tank, babies.
That's so cool.
We were
What
a
the fuck?
family. Even the 80s.
I did not expect that. That was really cool.
An
That was really cool.
unquantifiably long amount of time ago, the fifth-dimensional cosmic traveling beings known as the Quantumalia arrived at this dimension, device known as the Annihilator. Briefly before the universe was about to be created, the time-traveling would-be dictator Maltruant arrived. Before the evil Annihilar can go off, shape-shifting hero beyond time known as Ben Tennyson
comes
arrives
in,
with
kicks his
party work,
ass,
and using the power of all of his transformations, contains the Big Bang and defeats Maltruant, scattering his body into pieces across the universe,
creating a time
destined
loop
to repeat his failure over and over again, trapped in a time loop.
I know this.
Gazing upon the faces
he has
Ben and Rook.
he has the alien X arm right here. That's a cool little detail. Are people fans of Feedback? I probably, but I was never a big fan of them.
This video is the complete illustrated retelling of the entire history of Ben 10, from the classic series all the way to Omniverse.
What, no reboot?
So you will see all flashback and time travel shenanigans play out in the order they would have happened in the natural progression of the universe.
Nice.
Released into the universe sometime after the universe had time to grow, a swampy, small planet gives birth to a genius that will become the smartest being in many galaxies. Soon begins to flourish his passions to invent and learn alongside his mate, Zenith. His first grandiose invention being an entire artificial planet known as Primus. Obsessed with his own capability, Azimuth sought out to find a way to tap into the fundamental forces of—
They're skipping some Azimuth lore here.
Azimuth forged the Sword of Ascalon, a sword that wields such great power, one can't help but compare it to magic. However, the sword was stolen by a fierce incursion warrior, hoping to put an end to their constant world wars.
It was stolen by the
This
incursion?
eventually led to the destruction of the incursion planet.
I had no idea. I didn't know it was stolen by the incursions. I don't remember that, but I'll take it.
After retrieving the sword, Azimuth was still longing to prove the sword's creation was valid. To relinquish the assault, Azimuth offers the knight his sword if Sir George, the Roman soldier's current name.
I love the Dagon season or arc. I love that. It was so fun to, I mean, first of all, see Ben fucking like take over the universe basically for a minute there. I'm not just gonna watch the video. I have to create transformative content, or else they can sue me, and I can't afford to be sued. I don't have money.
Azimuth sought out to right his wrongs by inventing something to represent peace instead of war.
Wait, if Sir George is immortal, how did he grow old? How old is he? He can't be any older than like 10,000 years. Assuming that he's thousands of years old, which I think is a fair assumption. How would he go from looking like a 20 or 30-year-old to looking like a 70-year-old over the course of the next 900 years, right? Because if he was alive for a few thousand, I'm not saying that he was, I'm just saying if he was. If he was alive for a few thousand, like, because if he's immortal, he shouldn't age, right?
Azimuth became antisocial and put himself in isolation on Xenon, and began developing the Omnitrix, which can transform the user into a multitude of alien species. In the 1770s,
George Washington came in on his high horse and his steed and said, "You know what, Captain? I think we're gonna be Americans now." Maltruant is there and he's like, "Hey," and then Vilgax came in. He's like, and then oh wait, it wasn't No Watch Ben, it was Prime Ben. Was it was it Prime Ben? It wasn't No Watch Ben, it was Prime Ben. Okay. I've only seen Omniverse twice, and I've seen every other version of the show like 17 times. So I don't have that much memory about it. Oh wait, was it when did this happen around the time when they had those time cycles or whatever? Is that what it was? Just so that I kind of remember it.
Seeing Ben transform from species to species inspired Vilgax's lifelong lust for this unique kind of power, as Ben unknowingly became the catalyst for his greatest foe.
This is so complex.
Is completing his work on a machine that uses quartz crystal to break a hole in the space-time continuum. The machine erupts, and both the scientist and his assistant disappear.
Wait, technically, they got something wrong. In the original timeline or whatever, obviously we know Paradox is sent through time and becomes whatever. But in the original timeline, his assistant also goes and becomes that time demon or whatever that shows up in the military base 50 years later. But Ben goes back and stops him from getting lost through time. So technically, this did not happen in 1952. Technically, only Paradox was gone. So technically, they got something wrong. I know for the sake of the video and explaining the lore in the episodes, that's why they did it. But technically, it's also wrong. I'm sure they're going to go back and change it later, but just saying, they got that wrong. But I understand why they did it. They know what they're doing. Devin was Kevin's father. Halliday, obviously we know him. Phil was his partner that we met in OS, the one that released all the aliens out to make money. OS Vilgax before the crash was a fucking pussy. Look at this. He has smaller arms than me, and that's saying something. And look at that thigh gap too. And you should fit a fucking bowling ball through that thigh gap. Like, he ain't fucking nobody.
Fight for the Omnitrix.
Okay, so they shot there, but then they shot back. If it were me, I would have made the blast from this one a different color than the blast from this one, just to help differentiate it. But that's just me. So OS Vilgax prior to the explosion was a fucking pussy. Vilgax after, fucking, he went to the gym. He was like, that should never happen again. It's like he got his ass beat.
Decides to take his grandchildren on a cross-country trip to help bring them closer together. A 10-year-old Ben Tennyson, accompanied by his cousin Gwen, begin their road trip with Max at a campsite in Yosemite Park, California.
Oh, the music! The music! Oh my god!
Events we later learned were manipulated by...
Oh, that's fucking... The music is... I'm about to cry.
Horses. Ben finds himself crossing paths with a mysterious meteor that fell from the sky.
Meteor?
Horses. Ben finds himself crossing paths with a mysterious meteor that fell from
the... Yeah, it said meteor.
The sky. The Omnitrix quickly attaches itself to Ben's wrist, igniting the legend of Ben 10, kid superhero that can change into 10 different alien forms. Max has yet to reveal to his grandchildren his alien hunting past, but uses his knowledge of alien life and combat training to help Ben master his powers. Vilgax's healing time has come to an end, and now with a much more powerful cybernetic body,
dude,
Vilgax
look at that man!
To claim the
fucking look at it, he's massive!
Vilgax successfully...
I love the... I forgot to say this earlier. I love the art style, dude. It's so cute. Like, also, I love the background. I love how it's like unfinished sketches or just like rough cuts or whatever. That's really, really freaking cool.
The two head to Mount Rushmore to gather more weapons to save Ben. Meanwhile, a power surge...
I'm sorry, the fucking animation there was so funny.
Mount Rushmore to
look at that.
Meanwhile, a power surge on Vilgax's ship begins to shift Ben between his alien forms. A final assault between Ben, Gwen, and Max against Vilgax leaves him trapped on his exploding ship.
I wonder if they're gonna cover the alternate timeline when Gwen got the Omnitrix. Probably not. But I wonder if they'll do that.
Max agrees to open up to the kids about his secret life, and the three become stronger and closer together. As their summer adventures continue, the trio expand their capabilities. Max comes out of retirement and begins to refamiliarize himself with his old technology and weapons. Gwen takes an interest in magic after stealing a spellbook from one of their many reoccurring villains.
Well, technically, she got an interest in magic from the Charms of Azel, didn't she? Obviously, she learned from the spellbook a lot, but I think the initial push towards that was from the Charms of Azel, not from the magic book.
Ben soon discovered that there are more than 10 aliens in the Omnitrix. It becomes a natural...
there's more than 10!
On Max's 60th birthday, Ben and Gwen are thrusted 20 years into the future.
Ben 10,000!
Version of Gwen, now a master of martial arts and magic. During this brief journey, Ben evaluates the arrogant and selfish behavior he develops as he matures into adulthood, and vows to make different choices as he grows. Ben and Gwen are returned to their time shortly after defeating future Vilgax.
Fucking beat off our Vilgax.
At some point, Ben is yet again hurled into the future, this time only 6 years, during a chrono-randomization barrier error by 16-year-old Ben Tennyson.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! I forgot about that! I fucking love that episode!
Ben helps his future self and team
oh my god!
Ultimate Agrigor. More on that later. After this
event,
Ben is sent back to his own time and
people who've never seen Ben 10 are like, what the fuck? fuck is going on?
More on that later.
More on that later? What do you mean later? I want it now! Oh my god, dude, I fucking love it. Why am I crying?
After this event...
Wait, how did he escape the null void? That was never revealed. He just did. Man, Vilnius had it fucking rough, man. He was a nice guy, you know, helping people on their travels anytime he could. Then he sees the Omnitrix, fucking gets obsessed with power, spends the next 300 or 400 years searching for that shit, just to get his ass beat again and again and again by a 10-year-old. A fucking imagine if you got your ass beat by a 10-year-old. Would you like it, knowing that you're one of the baddest motherfuckers in the universe? Would you enjoy that shit? Probably not. But that's not it. Not only did he get his ass beat repetitively by a 10-year-old, he also got locked in a fucking extra-dimensional prison. Motherfucker gets out, just his ass beat again. Like, holy fuck. He fucking went through it, man.
Kevin learns to absorb matter instead, creating a suit of armor with whatever material he touches.
I also think that's a common misconception about Kevin's power. But I feel like oftentimes people think of his powers, or him absorbing matter at least, as he turns into that material, instead of it creating a shell around him, which doesn't make sense how he can talk, but it doesn't matter, it's a show. But I feel like that's something a lot of people overlook, is the fact that it's a suit of armor that goes around his body, which is why it can crack and peel off. That's not right. Sorry, but this is incorrect. If you look here, you can clearly see that Kevin's majority top half is made of metal, when reality speaking, it was made of stone, and this section was made of metal. So, technically, you're wrong. Please fix this in the next update. Anyways. Sorry. The video's great, by the way. Video's amazing so far.
The trio tracked down the leak to a low-class childhood blogger named Jimmy Jones.
Jimmy!
Jeffrey! He tips them off about an alien stealing...
Jeffrey! What's your guys' favorite alien? Mine is Jeffrey. Oh yeah, that's right. They were making a starship that you know 15% the speed of light, which is pretty damn good, especially considering it's done with nuclear bombs. What kind of primitive technology is that shit? Don't have, but still, 50% the speed of light is fucking.
As Ultimate Agrigor. The following.
Remember when he said that we'll get back to Ultimate Agrigor later? Yeah, that was like what, 20 minutes ago.
Following battle leaves Max with a damaged nervous system, stranding him on Galvin Mark II while he heals. Paradox claims that he was the one who hid all pieces of the map of infinity, as a race between Ultimate Agrigor and the trio begins. The two Bens, Gwen, and Kevin battle Ultimate Agrigor on the palms of a giant celestial sapien mother. Agrigor plans to absorb its child and obtain omnipotence, as infinite celestial sapiens do not have the same drawbacks as their adult selves. Just as he is about to succeed, Kevin sacrifices his sanity and absorbs the powers of Ben's Ultimatrix, creating Ultimate Kevin, and defeats Agrigor by absorbing his powers too. Kevin's involuntary betrayal drives a wedge between Ben and Gwen.
Good music choice, by the way.
Really good the idea that Kevin has changed, and they should save him no matter what. Ben disagrees, saying Kevin is obviously too far gone, and they should kill him before anyone else gets harmed by him. Meanwhile, Ultimate Kevin hungers for power and attacks many of his old friends and enemies alike, including the Max Force and the Warden that killed his childhood friend who helped him escape. With the help of sometimes enemy Darkstar and Cooper Daniel, Ben engages Kevin in battle, as both nearly die at different points. Darkstar and Cooper finalize a device that can cure Kevin, powered by the remains of the Dominus Librium. It's an old man from the senior center known simply as George.
Yeah, so this is the Immortal, apparently. He's not fucking immortal. Immortal means that you never die. At the very least, you never die from old age. There are different kinds of immortality. Alright, listen.
He upgrades the knights with advanced armor and weaponry.
Oh yeah, where did he get that shit?
The Dagon turns George into dust, ultimately defeating him. As all hope seems lost.
What, are you gonna... let me ask you motherfuckers are gonna say, oh yeah, that pile of dust is alive. No! He's fucking dead! That's not immortal.
Ben absorbs the Dagon's power into the sword, and armed with the Ultimatrix, Vilgax proclaims Ben as a god and urges him to use his power to reshape the universe anyway.
There's with the power of Dagon, the sword of Ascalon, and the Ultimatrix, nothing can stop. Literally nothing can stop you. The only way he could be stopped is if he drops that sword. And knowing Ben, he never would. Not in a fight.
Tempted by nigh omnipotence, Ben refuses the power and returns the sword to Asmith. Asmith is impressed by Ben's growth since becoming more arrogant after the hybrid invasion, and deems Ben worthy of the new, completed Omnitrix. Max sends a freshly graduated Plumber Academy student, Rook Blanco, to be Ben's new partner, and the two slowly begin working out their differences, fighting crime in the underground city known as Undertown, formed from the alien camps that helped rebuild Bellwood back in 2007. In a ragtag fight for the Annihilarg against other foes, the device is accidentally activated, eradicating everyone and everything in the universe except for Ben, who protects himself as Alien X, finally starting to master his power.
Alright, I have a question for all of you. What is your opinion on the Omniverse art style?
Ben uses Alien X to create a new universe to replace his old one, although it is not an exact duplicate, and so far, no one aside from Ben...
Alright, wait, hold on. So, I wonder if they got this little detail. Mr. Smoothie here, obviously that's the new one after the incident, but did they change it? They did change it! That's a cool little detail. I really like that.
Combating species who were naturally born to fight Ben's aliens against a skilled huntsman strengthens the bond between Ben and Rook, becoming true partners. The adventures of Rook and Ben continue as they save the planet from the incursion invasion, prevent Albedo from permanently stealing the brain of Asmith,
I forgot about the incursion invasion.
Paradox returns once more with a warning that the entire multiverse is at stake, as Eon and Vilgax have teamed up and have been time traveling together for years, putting together an army of evil Ben Tennysons for a war. The battle will take place in an alternate universe, where one of the Bens never found the Omnitrix, because the Omnitrix never even existed here.
That's also another crazy thing. In every single reality, except for one, in an infinite list of realities, there's only one reality where Ben's life was not impacted by the Omnitrix.
Paradox takes this Ben on a journey to restore the timeline, revealing that it was those two that manipulated the events of Ben Prime's timeline for Ben Prime to receive the Omnitrix in the first place. No Watch Ben also helps.
Wait, how can that be the Prime timeline if it was manipulated by another time? But obviously, you know, it's the Prime timeline, and nothing can happen without that happening. Which means that No Watch Ben can't happen. But that means that No Watch Ben, the only way for this to be possible is if No Watch Ben is the Prime timeline. Which obviously it isn't, because we all know that Prime Ben is the Prime Ben. But it's not the Prime Ben because it can't exist. No Watch Ben didn't come. If No Watch Ben didn't come in and manipulate things so that Ben would get the Omnitrix and become the Prime Ben, then No Watch Ben can't exist, because the Prime Ben wouldn't exist. But so that means that No Watch Ben couldn't stem off of Prime Ben, which means Prime Ben is No Watch Ben. Holy shit! Guys, I think we just cracked the universe.
Paradox collects the good Bens for battle, but is left behind when the war starts again. No Watch Ben re-enters his universe shortly after the time bomb went off, but now has a better understanding of the Omnitrix and the responsibilities of a hero. Using clockwork, he reverses the effects of the time bomb and restores the multiverse.
No Watch Ben returns the Omnitrix to Ben Prime, and the good Bens effortlessly defeat Vilgax together.
A charade of events lead to Ben, Gwen, Argit, Rook, Kevin, Alan, Helen, and Manny, all in the Rooters headquarters located in the Null Void.
Just keeps going!
As a gift from Paradox and Ben 10K, Ben and Rook use special time cycles to follow Maltruant into a literal race against time.
You guys remember when we talked about the time cycles? Okay, so we'll finally get an answer to our question from an hour ago, or 2 hours ago almost, which was, how did Maltruant end up in the past?
Race against
because I forget.
They temporarily knock Maltruant outside of the time vortex, stranding him on Earth in the 1770s.
Yeah, okay, so...
And Maltruant makes his escape back into the vortex. They arrive at the beginning of time to find themselves face to face with a Contumalia ship, and are met by the three multiversal gods before them, who take the shape of your heart's desire so you can physically perceive their fifth-dimensional forms.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think they're fifth-dimensional, right? Wait, wasn't that, oh, fuck, what was that? The Najalian or whatever? I'm surprised he didn't touch on that. The Najalians are like, no, they're not 11-dimensional beings. They're like 27-dimensional beings or something. Or no, they're like the highest dimensional being that exists. Because they said, they were like, oh yeah, there's only 27 dimensions that matter. Which means that there's more than 27.
Truant arrives not long after and activates his evil Annihilarg. Skurd forms a celestial blade to cut through the Contumelia's chamber, but Ben has no choice but to dive in after the Annihilarg as a last-ditch effort
so
to
badass.
save the universe.
That was so badass.
Hope prevails, and using the power of all of his transformations, Ben contains the Big Bang and fires it into Maltruant, scattering his body into pieces for Ben and Paradox to hide across the multiverse, with Maltruant destined to repeat his failure over and over again, trapped in an endless time loop. Ben says his goodbyes to Skurd, who wishes to join his ancestors in the development of life. The Contumelia are impressed by their observations, and invite Ben and Rook to stay and witness the true birth of their own reality. The Annihilarg is placed into the chamber and sent into the endless void. From there, the Universe Prime is born.
That was pretty damn good. I've never seen one of their videos before, so this was a really good start to it. I cried twice during that. I almost cried a third time. Because I just fucking love Ben 10, man. I've been watching Ben 10 for as long as I can remember, even before that, honestly. I love Ben 10 so much, so it's really, really cool to see other people that love it as much as me, and want to make stuff like this. Let's watch another one. Let's watch another one while I gather myself.